Hey, what's going on, everyone? And welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion. We really do appreciate it. And yes, guys, I'm happy to be here. We are going to be talking about The Flash. The Flash that is in theaters right now, doing horrible at the box office. We're going to be talking about that too. Was it a good movie? Was it a bad movie? Was it the best comic book movie of all time? Like they were saying before anybody saw it. We are going to get into all that, but before we do, as you can see, I got my man, Mr. OneTakeBigDog, right here. How you doing, sir? How you doing?
Oh, living good. You feel me? Chilling.
Uh,
Yeah.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm always glad to have you back. Guys, if you did not know, we're going to spoil this again up, down, left, right, in, and out as if you've already seen it. You have been warned. You probably have seen the film. It's been out for a little over a week now. Again, doing bad at the box office. And, we're a little late getting this spoiler review to you. If you love what we have to say, you can follow us on social media. My handle's on the screen. His information is in the description box of this video. And like always, he is on my channel tab. You can follow him on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, all that good stuff right here. Follow OneTakeBigDog, all of that. And also, guys, if you do want an audio only version of this, you can get that as well. I'll have a link in the description with buzzsprout.com. All of these outlets right here, as well as SoundCloud as well, to get your audio only version on. But one take, I can't even talk. Let's go ahead and get into this, man. The spoilers review. It's been a long time coming. My non-spoilery review is already up on my channel if you guys are curious on checking that out. But if you just want to stay here, you can as well. But I'll just go ahead and get into it, man. I really did enjoy this film. I did. I had a good time with it overall. I do have my nitpicks here and there, of course, that we're going to get into. But do I think that this was the best superhero movie of all time? Like, the director and every all the other execs and higher ups were saying, not even remotely. I don't know why they would try to raise expectations that high only to leave audiences disappointed. And I know in my subtitle in my non-spoiler review one take, I did say that this was overhyped. Still a good movie, still a great movie, but it was overhyped. There were a few things that I was disappointed with, which we will talk about. But overall, I did give it an 8 out of 10. That was my overall rating. And I really did love the opening sequence, and I can't wait to talk about that in detail. But honestly, I have no idea how you feel about this, man. I know your expectations was high. We did talk. You was actually on the show when we did when they first dropped the trailer around that week, and we was both pretty excited. And now that I think about it, I haven't talked to you since
Yeah.
about the film. So I have no idea how you feel, man. So won't you let me know? Won't you let us know how you feel about this film? Good, bad, in the middle, and your expectations going in, all that good stuff.
I have to admit, man, going into this film, my expectations were through the roof. Because I have been hearing so many great things. People from Cinema Con, a lot of people that I trust, a lot of people who have the same views on movies that I typically have. They were loving it, raving about it. You constantly hearing like one of the best superhero movies ever made. And so, you, as a DC fan and as a big Flash fan, you go into this movie, with your expectations high. And me, like I said, as a DC fan, I want them to win so bad that I'm like, okay, I hope this movie is everything they said and more. And then I go in and I see the film, and obviously, like, for me, I had an amazing time watching the film. Now there were certain I've only seen the film once, but there were obviously some things that stuck out to me. Even the first time I saw it, I was just like, okay, that doesn't work, or that doesn't look right, and there is no amount of times I can see the film that would change my mind on that. But other things, and just the way the film carried itself, to me, really got me to caring so much about this character, and the stuff he was going through, and like the emotional connection he had with so many different people, and the situation with his mother. And I know we're gonna get into all of that, but yeah, I was completely engulfed within the film. I laughed, I smiled, like I ain't gonna say I cried at all, but like, there was a moment in there where my eyes definitely watered, and I know we're gonna talk about that. But like overall, I just had a great time watching the film. But it's just certain little elements within it And not necessarily even structurally, just visually, kind of like take you out of certain scenes at times. But other than that, man, I had a blast watching.
Well, let's talk about that briefly. I may know what you're talking about because I was surprised. I don't agree with majority of what I hear
Mm-hmm.
about this film. A lot of people are complaining about the visual effects in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that they're wrong. They are right. I have horrible eyes, I will admit. So maybe that's the reason why it's not that big deal to me. But when I was watching this movie one day, that did not cross my mind. There was other things that crossed my mind that were distracting to me, but the effects were not one of them. I just, I mean, to each their own. If you felt that way, your feelings are valid. But I am not one that walked out of the movie and was like, you know what? The visual effects in this scene and this scene here didn't work for me. It was bad CGI. I heard people talking about the babies that was floating, that were flying from the skyline. And, I thought that whole sequence was great. Even when we're playing the trailer right here in this film, let me try to bring it up. Like this whole opening sequence right here. When he's running, after they do the jokes, but the title comes up and that he's just running, it's just so super fast. All of those effects that blew me away. Look at this.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
impressed. I loved all of that right there.
yeah.
I just had to bring that up real quick. But for me, man, the entire first act was perfect for me, damn near. Like I love the very opening of this movie, all the way up until present day Barry, lost his powers when he went back. At that
Okay.
point, that's where things started to dip for me.
Okay.
And we can address that in a second. But up until that, man, the film is opening up like I just showed you. I'm loving the effects. I'm laughing. I'm having a good time where he's in the diner trying to get his breakfast, and he's
Yeah.
fast, and the waiter or the cashier is taking a long time, and they're having their banter back and forth. I'm enjoying all that. I'm loving the humor. I'm
Mhm.
laughing when they hey, can you throw me the candy bar, and it hits him in the head, and then I got to start the title thing off. I'm loving that. Loving the effects, bro. Loving
Okay.
the communication that Barry is having with Alfred and Bruce. Like, hey, man,
Mhm.
where's Superman at? This seems like a job for him. Oh, he's stopping a volcano from destroying the city.
Yeah.
Batman over here trying to get the device, the diamond, the kryptonite, or whatever the hell, something important. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So we need you over here. Where's Wonder Woman? When she comes eventually, I'm loving the film so far,
Okay.
one take. And so then when the babies are flying out the window and the woman is screaming, and then they're showing all the effects and how fast he's going and running up the side of the building and the debris. I'm like, man, wait a minute. Andy Muschietti and James Gunn may be correct. This
Yeah.
may be the best superhero movie ever made because that's how I'm feeling right now. One take,
Yeah.
I am loving this, and not only that, I love the way they tied in. The Flash, powerful, and the super powerful character, can change time, but they gave him limits, and it was silly, but it worked with food. Like
Mhm.
all that running, he gonna have to get his sugar up. He gonna have to get them calories in. So I love that as an idea, as a concept. That is great writing to me, and presents the character with a challenge with all of these powers, and him having to think fast and look fast and be like, okay, I gotta save the babies in this order. And not only are we flying out of a window, we got acid, we got fire, we got knives flying, and I gotta I'm bro, that whole thing was perfect.
Yeah.
I'm in this thing just like, oh my God, this is amazing. I mean, that is how I'm feeling, man. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. But some people had complaints about them, like the babies didn't look real. I mean, bro, and I was laughing too when he's finally saved the all the people, the babies, the dog, and the lady. She's screaming, ah, bro. I'm laughing my ass off. That's a realistic reaction. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
screaming like that too for 10
Yeah.
minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell? Like, I'm up here, then I'm bro, I'm like, this is and I talk about all the time my comedy and serious moments and stuff, but this is realistic. It's not a
Mhm.
joke. That's stuff is funny when we can relate to it. Anybody will be screaming like that, bro. And so yeah, we get to Batman. He doing his batarang, and he catching the people, and Wonder Woman come. She got the lasso of truth. She making them laugh. I'm like, bro, this is a perfect start to this.
Yeah.
I seriously, one take. I'm not exaggerating, bro. I have no complaints
Okay.
all the way from the beginning up until this point. I am a 100% satisfied all the way until Barry loses his powers. Now I know that's a lot, and that I just threw at you right there, but I just had to just show my joy and excitement for this film up until this point, man. And so I want to hear from you if you agree, you disagree, your pushbacks, your criticisms. I talked about the visual effects and yada yada. The floor is yours. Let's hear it.
Okay, so in that scene in particular, that I had no issue with the visual effects. One, especially after hearing Andy Muschietti say like some of the visuals when he's inside the Speed Force are gonna look different. You know what I'm saying? Those aren't the critiques for the visual effects that I had. And that opening scene, I agree with you, was fantastic, and I love how they show how fast Barry is. Okay, when you talk about like the fastest man alive, it's not just him just running. Like everything else slows down, and it was to such a degree he was able to literally eat meals and do everything else and look at so many different things and how he would have to hit each and every single one of them because he's also a genius and how hard he should hit them and where they would go and what would happen after that and him setting up all the kids. And even like the part where you said with the lady, she gets down and she's screaming. I think that's a very, very valid reason because you have to think, yes, we just seen like this 10 minute sequence of him like changing everything up and trying to save everybody. But to her, it was literal seconds. The last thing she remembers is her falling out of a building.
Right.
She's screaming then. Next thing you know, literally a second or two later, you're on the ground. Obviously, I'm gonna be screaming for happiness and joy and not knowing what the hell just happened. You know what I'm saying? And I thought I got all these damn kids and this dog. Like, what the hell going on?
It was great, man. It was great.
Listen, I have been a huge fan of Ben Affleck's Batman.
Yeah,
and
I forgot about that. Yeah,
we don't see his Batman in the daytime often, but him just that scene right there, he was sliding on the fucking wall, jumping off the cars, everything like that. The battle ring, him going after the villains, him getting in the car with that. I'm geeked. I'm just like you. I'm geeked as hell. Only part about that I felt was a little cheesy to me was Wonder Woman. Not the lasso scene. I thought that was funny. But just the way they did this also in Shazam Fury of the Gods. The way they have Wonder Woman show up, it's like Gal Gadot is a beautiful woman. But every time they have her show up, it's like everything else just stops and they just hold the screen, just hold the camera on her and just let her smile. I'll be like, okay, we get it. She's beautiful and she's fierce. But I like to see that more. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Like the more tougher side of Diana. Like every time I'm seeing her now, it's just like she's like big smile on her face, smile for the camera, let me say something. You heard? So like that's the only thing. But other than that, like scene was fantastic, and it was once again it was a great start to the episode. And another thing that you mentioned, him having to eat, that is a huge component of the Flash that. I think the CW Flash had did it one time, and they had talked about it, but ultimately they had made some kind of pill or something that he can just take once a day that doesn't like have his appetite, you know what I'm saying, going crazy. But that is, if he runs that much, he's burning a lot of calories. He's obviously gonna need to replenish himself, and so I like the way that they use that within this film. So it kind of like it was like a soft origin story. The entire film felt like a soft origin story for the Flash that we didn't get to see with like the other stuff. So yeah, it was great beginning.
Yeah, man. I can dig it, man. I can dig it. Something else I want to get into that surprised me they did a great job as well is the relationship with his mother. That was very touching, man. They did a great job with that. Just to hop around a little bit, if we want to talk about the MCU, when it came to Endgame, one of the things I did not like about the movie was Fat Thor. I thought they run that joke into the ground. But the best part of that was him going back to seeing his mother, Frigga. Him crying and being able to see her, that was wonderful, in that part of the film. And I think with the Flash, it's a similar scene in a way, but I think they even did better. You know, in this one, they did a great job, and I'm still blessed that I have my mother here, man. But when Barry was in the past in the Batcave talking to the younger Barry, and then he snapped on him, and he was screaming at him, just like, "You take everything for granted. You do this and you did it." It was a powerful scene, man.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for him, and I just could not stop thinking about all of the people that I know in my personal life, excuse me, and also on YouTube and online that have expressed themselves about how sad it is that they lost a parent or their mother, and I've been in those funerals, and I just kept thinking about them, and I just kept thinking, like, if they saw this movie, how would they feel? How would they react to it? One big YouTuber online, he had a spoiler review on how he reacted when Thor went to go in the past to go see his mother, because his mom passed away.
Yeah.
And then he cried in the video, and so I know he saw the Flash, and I gotta go check him out to see how he felt about this. But anyway, man, I just thought that just that scene between the Barrys, just the whole film, beginning, middle, and end of Barry and the relationship with his mother, played by Maribel Verdú. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but here she is right here. I've never seen her before. She was born in Spain, but she did a great job. And with Ezra, oh man, you should have told me. My bad, I wasn't looking. There we go. I was sharing. I thought I was sharing the right screen, but yeah, here she is right here. That played Barry's mother. She did a great job, but I was really impressed by that whole relationship. And I talked about I didn't have any complaints until Barry lost his powers. Well, before that, he went back and kind of got a glimpse back in time, got really emotional, and I liked that was the trigger that launched his powers, any emotional connection that he had with his mother, or the felt of loss, and that's what made him speed up and break the speed force. And again, that was a just visual glory, of that black screen with all the blue lights, and then he ran into the I don't know what it's called, the cerebral or something, the chrono ball.
Yeah,
I loved all that, man. That was dope as hell. How did you feel about all that? Relationship, Barry with his mom, or anything else you want to talk about?
That relationship is probably one of the most integral parts to this film, and you don't get them together. You don't get them together for 30 minutes. So the time that they do spend together, that connection between the two really has to come off like perfect. And I definitely think they nailed it, because one, the scene you're talking about in the Batcave, to me, is hands down one of the best scenes in this movie, period. Yeah. Where he just basically looking at his younger self and telling him like how he like basically taking advantage of him, like, you don't understand what this woman is doing, or what she, what I'm saying, what it would be like if you don't have her in your life. You know what I'm saying? Because you've had her your entire life. Right. I lost her early, but he obviously he don't want to convey that message to him. But you can just see it, like it's coming off, and I can just only imagine. Even going back, and I still got my mama, God bless, but like I was raised by my grandma. I always lived with my grandma my entire life, and I lost her a couple years ago. So I can just picture me even now going back to 3 years ago and just talking to myself like, dude, you got this person that, like, you must appreciate them with all your love, because without them, I guarantee you, your life is not the same. And so, younger Barry, I love the contrast. And don't get me wrong, Ezra Miller done some terrible things, but one thing he did great was his performance in this damn movie, playing both sides, the naive, arrogant Barry, and then the more mature Barry who sees the flaws within himself. The way he cared about his mother, and the way he was really willing to risk everything for her to get that time back that he lost with her, or even not even necessarily get the time back, to continue from a certain point in his life with his mother, dog, that shit was powerful. And the last moment between those two, I don't give a damn one of the best moments in all, one of the most emotional moments in any comic book movie or any movie that I've seen this year, period. Because you know exactly what's about to happen in that scene. You know it's the last time, and like she doesn't know it sort of stuff, but it's just like a certain feeling that she had.
Yeah.
But it was just like you watching it and you just so uncomfortable because, and I hate to jump to the end, but I just gotta talk about this. It's as simple as him grabbing a can of tomatoes. It's like, just think about how big or how grand some scenes are in comic book movies. You have some giant thing in the sky. You have to get the thing to stop the thing from going off. It's literally as simple as grabbing a can of tomatoes out of a buggy that breaks the audience down. I thought that shit was incredible, man. That shit was incredible.
I love it, man. I love the big smile on my face. That's what's up. So, yeah, man, we pretty much loving everything so far, in agreement for the most part. So that's fine, right there, man. But one thing I'm gonna talk about something that two things that disappointed me. First one is I was really annoyed by Younger Barry. Like he got on my nerve, and I know that was kind of the point. And I know that Barry did it. They did address it in the film. Like, damn, we all look back and we're like, oh man, I did some stupid stuff and said some stupid stuff. I mean, man, when OneTake, it's so many memes going around talking about, when Facebook, I don't have my original anymore, but they would send you memories of Facebook statuses that you made 5-10 years ago. You're like, oh, I said that dumbass shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, golly, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't believe I thought that was funny or clever or slick. Like, I sounded like an idiot. Terrible. You know what I'm saying? We all go through it. So I appreciate that. That's great. But again, the idea is great. But I just wasn't cool with the execution, man, because the Younger Bear, I was just frustrated as hell, man. Like, God, just sit down somewhere. Like, what I would have appreciated in the film is if Barry didn't lose his powers. He still had his powers, and then just had to teach the young Barry, do what I do, copy after me. You still get the same point across. Again, it's Barry's origin story in a way, but it's just different. So I was just not cool with him losing his powers like that.
Yeah.
Now, another scene to where when Barry was looking, I liked the part I liked about it was Barry was not trying to waste time. He was like, okay, crap, because initially when he got knocked out the Chrono Bowl, I thought that was Eobard. I thought that was Reverse Flash. I was like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? This is where we going with it. I was like, the color different. He ain't yellow, he purple, but that's what I was thinking. So Barry got knocked out the Chrono Bowl. He got knocked to a different timeline or universe, and he didn't know at first. He saw the old bit, ran out there. They had a little conversation. He was about to bounce, like, okay, I'm in the wrong timeline. Let me go back to the right one. But he's like, well, damn, if you finna go out with Iris, then you ain't gonna get the powers. And if you in the past, then I'm gonna lose my. So he had no choice but to go, and he lost the powers. And what I'm getting at is, I like the fact, as far as the writing is concerned, that our Barry, present day Barry, was in the rush, because he's like, okay, he went to the apartment, he looking up on the computer, like, okay, well, let me look up, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Victor, Victor for Cyborg, yada yada yada. But the roommates was annoying to me, them talking about Back to the Future, and they got the tattoo on the leg. All that was just annoying. It was just annoying, and so I didn't like that. And also, what I did not like is, of course, this is adapted from Flashpoint comic, right? And I've seen that movie. What I wanted to see was Barry go back and change something in the past, but we get to see what happens to his timeline, the original. We didn't get to see that. We just saw him get knocked to another one, to where we don't even care about it. Because it's not our universe, it's not our timeline, and the time we spent there is wasted, because they just end up dying at the end. It's like, we look, there's nothing we can do. Of course, he was like, I'm the Flash, and not I'm spitting it, bro. I'm and all that. But I'm just like, I didn't want to see that. I wanted to see him go back, change something, and then him come back to the same time and see how drastically different it was. And so
Yeah.
those are my complaints. How you feeling about all that I threw at you?
Okay. I'm gonna start off with the first one. Well, you said Younger Barry was annoying, a guy on your nerve. I completely understand that sentiment. I think we're in agreement on him being annoying. I think we're in disagreement on the execution of it, because I was cool with the execution of it, and I wouldn't have been if they didn't make Barry, our Barry, up into a mature version of himself. Because the younger Barry, definitely, I think we all can agree. Just like you said, I go back and I look at some old videos I said from, bro, I was a terrible, just terrible human being overall. I'm just like, yeah, I didn't think I thought I could say whatever and just like I'm a piece of shit. I just go back and look, I was like, I'm a piece of shit. But like, yeah. But that, so I was cool with that. You know what I'm saying? So I was cool because of how they made Barry. The younger Barry kind of reminded me of, if you go back and you watch the Justice League, the Joss Whedon version of the Justice League, that Flash, I was not a fan of that Flash. Everybody was like hyping him up, and I was just like, I didn't like the Flash in the movie. And then you go watch Zack Snyder's, and it's like, okay, no, there's more to his character than that. But it was that with a lot more regression from the younger Barry. But like I said, accompanied by older Barry, I think the blend worked for me. You know, it balanced itself out. I'll say that. I wasn't annoyed with the roommates though, because our Barry just don't real. I'm like, dude, it's a different timeline. It's a different thing. You changed a lot, and you quickly realize like, it wasn't just when you went back things got changed, things even further back got changed. So it's just all messed up. Everything is different. So to me, him being the genius that he is, he should have realized that a lot sooner. Now, what was the other thing? What was the other? It was three things.
Yeah, I said I was annoyed, him losing his powers, and we didn't get to see our timeline. We went, yeah.
Okay, that I'm not gonna lie to you, B. That's the first time I thought about that. That
Really?
You saying that is literally the first time I thought about that. But that is definitely a huge factor. It's a huge factor. But the reason I think that's also weird too is because did he go back and change his timeline, or did he just go back and change the other timeline and then go forward in that one? Because another thing I thought about, and I thought about this like after I seen them, well, a couple of days after seeing the movie. Yes, everything is technically resolved in this, but we still never even found out who killed his mom.
Yeah. That's a big deal too. You're right, because usually, I mean, I'm not no DC expert like that. You know what I'm saying? And I know there's like a gajillion versions of the Flash, but when Barry is a child, don't he see all the flashing lights? Don't he see like he sees something. He don't know what's going on, but don't he see something going on, and you know, like kind of see his mama die. We didn't get to see none of that.
We didn't get that version. So there's because you even said you thought it was Thawne too, but only reason I was kind of like, maybe they're not gonna use Thawne, because if you use Thawne, you're not gonna bring him in. And the way the movie's going, I'm like, you're not bringing Thawne in last minute. Thawne, he would have been all the way through this damn movie, okay? Or you would have introduced him at least within after the first hour with the family. So what I'm saying, there's still room to have Thawne be the person that killed his mom. And ultimately, Thawne killed his mom. Barry ends up becoming the Flash and creates Thawne. So it's like the old time paradox, complicated shit. You know what I'm saying? But the point that you made about us not seeing our timeline, our future, that's an entirely different movie. That right there would have been an entirely different movie
And I
because
wanted to see it.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I just don't think he would have fit in this one though.
Okay.
I don't think you couldn't. I don't think you could have did both of them, and they went with this route instead. Because that movie, you get the Atlantean Themyscira War. You get like Superman going up against. Lex Luthor trying to take out Slate. Like there, you know that Flashpoint movie is one of the best DC animated films. I'll probably say top 3. So you know how much that had in it. I don't think they was going that big with this one. You know what I'm saying? So I'm cool with the version that we got because I think it told a different story, a more sentimental story, I would say. But yeah, I do agree that to see that version of Flashpoint on screen would have been amazing.
Man, I'm just thinking about the animated movie.
Yeah.
Now, even though it was brief, I really did like this relationship too that Barry had with Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
You know, it really felt like they were friends. They really did. And I'm also thinking about the Flashpoint movie OneTake. Towards the end, Barry was like, what was it? Some temporal paradox fade off? I remember both worlds, Bruce. And then he gave Batman the letter from his dad. And he looked at it, he put it in the glass, the magnifying glass, and it showed this is my father's handwriting. And the tears fell from Batman's face into it. And you know, his Flash walked away so he can read it. And it's like, man, you really do say it. He said something player, you know, clever or whatever. And so I kind of felt that way when they were conversing. It wasn't as strong as that, but you know, it was still there, you know, elements of it. I really did enjoy the conversation, man. Both of these people have something they can relate to. You know, like I can save my parents, Bruce. I can save your parents too. You can also destroy everything. I can't blame Barry, man, for one go back in time. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, I think anybody would at least try. You know, I'm just being honest. You know, even though we shouldn't, I think I was feeling Barry. I was feeling Bruce. I was feeling Bruce. I was feeling Barry. OneTake, how'd you feel about this scene right here?
Yeah, I think obviously a lot of things take place off screen in these films. But like I said, to me, it's just like the mother and Barry situation where the film didn't require a bunch of time between them for you to understand the connection. This is, I know it's a limited time, but this is some of the best work we've seen from Ben Affleck's Batman and / Bruce Wayne, because he's always been like that big brother like figure to Barry, and that comes off very strong within this film, within the dialogue that they're having with him, trying to at times mentor him and look out for him and let him know like the risk, and let him know like, hey Barry, I understand that you can do that, but those traumatic experiences for you and me have made us who we are today.
Right.
And going back and possibly trying to change that, one, not only would it change us, it could possibly mess up everything entirely. So I love how that shit played out.
Yeah. I agree, man. I agree. So, guys, y'all watching this, let us know how you feel about this. And mind you, once again, this scene took place before Barry lost his powers. So, I'm saying I loved everything up until that point right there. How did you feel about the OG taking it back to 89's, the original Batman, Mr. Michael Keaton? How did you feel about him, sir? How'd you
feel? The way he started off was kind of weird to me, because to me it seemed like even old Bruce Wayne has this certain presence about himself. Okay, and I didn't get that at first. Though a lot of people absolutely love Michael Keaton's Batman, that wasn't my Batman necessarily growing up. I watched the animated Batman. That was my first Batman. Oh my God, what is it? Can't think of his name.
Christian Bale?
No, Kevin Conroy.
Okay.
That was my Batman growing up. So I know Keaton was cool, but to me in this, damn, they did him justice. I mean, some of the lines were cheesy and completely unnecessary. Like, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Okay, we get that. That's a callback. And there's a couple other moments where he just seems to be like, he seemed to be too damn cool at some point. But he's never looked better in fights. Like they had him looking like the complete and total badass. And like age did not play a factor for him whatsoever. He wasn't like grunting and like, oh, I'm getting too old for this. Nothing. He like, oh well, I just been waiting for somebody to come through and I can tag along and just show everybody I can still whoop people. Like he fought all the security guys or the army dudes. He was completely demolished. I'm like, bro, you don't seem like you've been out the house in a while. You literally just shaved probably for the first time in 10 years. But now you out here beating the hell out of all these people, bro. Come on. But I can't lie, I loved it. I was with it like all the way. So yeah, this to me is gonna be. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is gonna be the Michael Keaton Batman that I remember.
Okay. For me, I do agree with you. Definitely what you said in the very beginning. The introduction to him with the long hair and the spaghetti and all that. Man, weird. That's an understatement, man. I thought it was awful. I couldn't stand the introduction to with the long hair. I was like, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? This is Michael Keaton. This is the GOAT. This is the original Batman, and y'all got him playing with noodles and stuff. Like, this is trash, garbage. Now, when he put on the suit and when he was in the bat cave, okay, after that was great and perfect. You know, but when he was in the kitchen playing with the mop and all that, no. I don't know why they did that. I was just sitting here like, God, like, wow. I'm glad they left this out the trailer. You know, and I mean, I don't know. I didn't really care for the explanation of the multiverse or timelines either with the spaghetti. I just didn't really like it. How do you feel about it?
No, I actually liked it. I didn't like it when I heard it, but as time started to go on and you started to understand like those certain points that were like they were gonna happen regardless, and every single time this thing is gonna happen, and I was just like, oh, that's what he was talking about earlier. Now, like I said, initially I was just like, who we talking about with these fucking spaghetti noodles?
Yeah.
And then you get to that certain point where like where you had to come to a realization of where Barry had to come to the realization like, no, this is a set point in time. Like this is gonna happen, and every time I was with it, you know, because I understood it though.
It was just kind of goofy for me, you know. He just knew. I'm conflicted. I'm on the fence because on one hand, I'm glad that they didn't spend too much time on it, and they kind of just, you know, they had the scene, but then they cut, and it was him like, oh, okay, he buried and explained the whole thing to him, and Batman was just reciting it to us, but for clarification. I like that they breezed over it, but at the same time, it just seemed too easy. Like he just knew all the answers. I mean, I know it's Batman, he a genius and all that.
I was just gonna say it.
So I don't know, man. But he is a genius. It is Batman, but yeah, I don't know. It was just something about it, man. I just wasn't in love with it. It could have been better. I'll just leave it.
Yeah, okay. So, I respect that.
Y'all let us know if you agree or disagree. How did you feel about Sascha Calle, Miss Supergirl? How did you feel about her? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you thrilled?
I want to see her back. I want to see her back in the Supergirl movie more than anything. I think after watching the film, I love her. I love her Supergirl because one is very, very different from every other Supergirl we've seen. But I love her performance, how her strength, everything that she seems to embody within that suit. I am an absolute fan of. And like you can tell there's times where like people are just getting a check, bro. You obviously out there you can tell sometimes people are just getting a check. But even after I watched the film, I go back and I watch when Annie Muschietti first told us she was gonna be Supergirl. I watched her in plenty of other interviews talking about how happy she is to be this to be Supergirl, to this her doll that she carried. What is the doll? The doll, I can't think of the doll's name that she carried around with her all the time. You know what I'm saying? And just how she feels.
Let's start with an S.
The doll.
You said a doll or a dog?
No, the doll. It's
Oh,
like
I don't know. Okay.
it's like tiny or mini or something like that. It's like it's a Supergirl doll that she carries around. And I'm just like constantly listening to her. And when you watch the film, don't get me wrong, she doesn't have like no great super powerful speeches or anything like that. But it was just the one I was just like the hope. You see it in the trailer, and you're like, what does it mean? Like hope, doesn't it? It's like yeah, and like that right there, and every time she's going in action or when she rages out thinking about what happened to her cousin, I want to see more. I got like a little bit. I got like a taste of what her possibly what her greatness is, and I just want to see more of it.
I got you. I jumped the gun. I meant to say something. I'm gonna come back to her. I meant to say something else about Michael Keaton. Um, were you okay with him being just completely bulletproof?
In the bat suit,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The
Um,
reason being because that suit looks very different from other ones, but if you look, he was getting hit on the back and on the, like the cape, which is Kevlar. So a lot of times you see Batman dodging bullets. I feel like he's not conditioned anymore to where he was able to do that. Therefore, he had to change his suit up. It's kind of like I was watching not too long. Well, I think before I even when I saw this, I was rewatching Batman Beyond. I got sick and I just watched the entire series all the way through. And I saw the one time, or like one or two times, Bruce had went out when he had got older. He didn't wear like the regular bat suit no more because he can do the things he do. He would wear more of like the metal armor plated bat suit, and that to me that kind of seems like what Michael Keaton's Batman is doing. I don't know if he would have got hit in the chest or anything, how it would have affected him, but every time we saw him get hit, it was like the on the cape.
yeah, that's not my favorite. I mean, there's a jillion different versions of Batman, and I got the animated movies myself. They are different,
Mhm.
but my favorite type of Batman is the one where okay, he can probably take a few shots, because his suit is that strong, but he's primarily trying to dodge them
Mhm.
or incapacitate or take out the enemy before they can get the shot off. But him just standing there, man, taking on 5, 6 people with assault rifles, he just like.
Yeah.
I'm just like, damn, bro. Like, I don't know. That's just not my favorite of the Batman. You know what I'm saying? So
It kind
I
of
wasn't in
okay.
love with him.
In a sense, it kind of takes away the human element of it, and it makes it more about the suit because he can just sit there and take bullets. That's not Batman. Batman, you
Right.
got to be like he can still be hurt, and if he just
Yeah.
not taking a whole ring I mean, full of drones, full of bullets.
Right.
I get your point on that. I
I
absolutely
want
do.
I want to see the strategist ninja be able to outsmart them and be like, hi, you had guns, but I was still able to beat your ass and not get hit by your bullets. And yeah, it's just I wasn't too thrilled with that.
Yeah, that's a
Uh
different thing. That's a different
But
thing.
going back to Miss Sascha Calle as Supergirl here. Yeah, she was cool. I said in my
I hope
non-spoiler review that
I don't mean to interrupt. I think because I call her Sasha Calle, Sasha Calle. I think it's Sasha Calle. I think she's Hispanic.
okay.
So the two L's make the little Y sign. So I think it's Sasha Calle. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right.
Hey, let us know. I'm gonna just call her Sasha or Supergirl. Let's leave the last name off. I don't know. I've heard a number of pronunciations, but Miss Sasha, Miss Supergirl, she was cool. I mean, she was powerful. I liked it. I liked the flight. I liked the laser eyes. I liked her screaming. Her fighting Zod was cool. I'm gonna talk about more of that in a second. But again, as she's trying to as Barry's trying to bring her over to the fold, he's like really, expeditious with everything, like with the explanations and like, okay, this is this and that. Hey, I'm gonna do this. You go take it to the roof by the sun. I like all that. Then she goes and flies and she finds Zod. One of the things, the bad continuity is she flew away when she powered up on the sun. She flew away and she found Zod in the desert. and they was trying to reenact the scene from Man of Steel. One, it was not as impactful as Man of Steel by far. It was very, very empty, in my opinion. The performances, the presence. I mean, in Man of Steel, you felt it. Like, man, them just showing up is just, it's just pulsating, and it's just a bunch of bass in the background for no reason. Just really didn't get the same effect this time around. But she goes off, she flies, and she sees them talking to the armed forces from the U.S. military. Okay, then that's when she flies away. We wait a whole day or two for Barry to regain his powers, and then they go all fly there together, and Zod and them are at the same location. Like, how long did that battle last against the U.S. military? Like 48 hours? They would have wiped them out in 2 hours.
Okay.
So am I missing something? Because I saw the film twice, and I was like, they didn't really do a good job there with that. I mean, they were just posted up in the desert for days, like fighting the same fight. That because she went to go see him the first time. When she came back and Barry got his powers back, it was night. At least a day had passed, bro. Barry was knocked out. He was passed out and all that. So both Barrys had passed out at once, at least one point. Anyway, I don't know. Am I tripping or am I making sense?
Okay, I'm thinking back to it. She got up. She left. Go see Zod. Zod and them start the attack. And then she flies back and tells Barry them that she's in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they set up the stuff for Barry to... Now...
It does turn night.
It does turn night because it's nighttime when like it's storming and everything like that. Perfect time for a storm, right? That storm landed at the most opportune time, and they're in Gotham at this. They're in Gotham, obviously, because they're in the Batcave. So they would have to bring Barry back, and then the next day go back, and the fight is still going on with Kryptonians. Yeah. There's no way the U.S. military in the middle of some desert lasting that long against Zod, the incredible Krypton Hulk. I don't know, that dude was a giant and old girl. So
that was weird, man. But y'all let us know what you think about that. But they weren't really consistent there. Yeah. But so that's on the nitpick, side. But the fight itself, it took a while for them to get grounded. They was there, and of course, Batman and Supergirl was doing their thing, but Barry were it was a lot of talking and trying to figure stuff out. And I was like, damn, will y'all get it going? And when they finally got it going, it was cool. They went back in time, and I liked all that. That was fine. I can't expect younger Barry to be an expert and know how to do stuff.
Yeah.
So that's cool, but it's still I was still kind of frustrated, like, hurry up. I've been waiting to see the scene since I saw the first trailer, and y'all tripping. Y'all taking forever. How'd you feel about it, man? Did it reach your expectations?
I think I was definitely with you when it first started, because I'm just thinking myself, Barry, just run, push.
Yeah.
Something. You know what I'm saying? And he just keep falling and tripping. You just like, oh, dude, get it together. Like, because like, I know some awesome stuff going on with like Batman and Supergirl. But I'm like, we're here focused on y'all, and you trying to teach this dude, and like, come on, bro, like get it. Come on, man, do something, man. You tripping? All right, so I'm definitely right there with you on that. Like, I get that, but I do think that scene ended up really, really, really working for me, especially because I was getting caught off guard. And we can go right into. I was not expecting the deaths.
Oh yeah. Me neither.
Now,
me neither.
When the first one happened and they went back in time, I was like, okay, cool. I'm with that. And then it happened again. I said, oh shit. I said, I know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
I said, they not gonna be able to stop it. I thought the movie was gonna play it a little bit longer. And have us see it more like in current time rather than like in like the Speed Force. Wow. He really when Supergirl died, I was just like, Because if you remember, I know you remember, he died, and then you see Batman died trying to blow up the ship.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait. He hasn't did the little thing where he jump out the ship yet. Out the Batwing. So why is he dead? Oh, they will go back.
Yeah.
Then he does that and still fucking dies. So I'm like, well, damn.
Yeah.
They lose it. Like,
yeah. But
this is terrible.
He went out like a G though, man. He jumped on that Kryptonian back and was putting grenades on him, hopping around on the other side. I was like, oh shit. He got him a good 3 times, but that's a nice move, man. Batman, I ain't gonna give up, goddamn it. I'm gonna give it them all. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna use every resource I got.
That's what it really.
Man, yeah. So that was nice, man. I did like that, but he got a little too close to the explosion or whatever. What was nice though is when that explosion blew up in front of both Barry's face, and the older Barry was trying to tell the younger Barry, he was like, face. And the younger Barry didn't have the experience, so the blade wasn't his arm or whatever. But I was like, damn, that's nice. I like that the older Barry, he had enough experience to phase doing that, so it can just go through him. And so, that was cool. It wasn't a horrible scene, but it could have been better. I agree. I thought it was going to play out a little bit longer, with them, continuing to go back, and even going back to the scene where we talked about earlier, where the older Barry was yelling at the younger Barry, like, you take everything for granted. When I first brought that up, I didn't talk about the clapback from younger Barry. He was like, hey, bro, I was just trying to do my goddamn laundry. You came into my life out of nowhere, just like, hey, I'm you from the future, and we got superpowers. Where? How do you expect for me to receive this information?
Yeah.
And now that we're trying to save the day, I'm just supposed to accept that my world is going to die? No. I'm going to try over and over. I am the Flash. And I was like, this is annoying, but I can kind of see, where this is coming up. And then we kind of discovered that the super duper Flash from the future is him. He knocked him out the Chrono Ball earlier to create himself. And that whole time paradox thing is just so crazy to wrap your head around. Like, you want to say to yourself, it had to happen in the first place for it to happen, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
It happened in the future, and you came back in the past to knock him even further in the past. But if that didn't happen, then
crazy.
That's
dog, even when I'm telling you, that's what I was saying. When I even think about the reverse flash, killed Barry to create Barry.
Right.
But Barry had to be created to create the reverse flash. So it's like,
it's like, wait a minute. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? The egg. It probably don't make sense. It's just fun to think about at the very least. You know what I'm saying? So it brought us here. So yeah, man, that's a whole mind F right there in itself, man. But again, bro, that whole sequence was cool, man. Visually, the concept. It's crazy. What if reality really did? We don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They proved time travel to the future. They proved that back in the 70s, with relativity and all of that. But this is crazy, man. But to be honest with you, I like the way that the Barry killed himself and went away. But at the same time, if we was going to do some type of other Flash like this, I would have rather it just been the regular reverse Flash that we know, Eobard Thawne, or just not have him in the movie at all. There may be differences in opinion out there on that. How do you feel? You agree or disagree with that?
What do you mean? What do you mean, man?
I would have instead of the purple Flash Flash from the future, instead of seeing that, I would have rather seen this.
Okay. Let me tell you why I disagree. Let me tell you my biggest reasons for disagreeing with that. Number one reason for me is that even when they was making this movie, they wasn't quite sure what was going to happen in the future.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Secondly, the amount of screen time. I think Eobard Thawne he's the fastest Green Goblin. He's this Joker. Like, he's that. And when it comes to, like,
That was crazy.
Ultimate villains, he's in that upper echelon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't think you can just use him for
You're right.
15,
You're right.
20 minutes.
You're right. Okay. So let's get to this point right here. How did you feel about the destruction of dang near the multiverse or the source wall and seeing all of these different versions? You know what I'm saying? We have the original Superman, you know, we had Nicolas Cage as Superman, we had the black and white Superman. How'd you feel, man? You know, did that get you all giggly and juicy on the inside? Or, you know, I thought it was cool.
Okay. I think I'm right there with seeing Nicolas Cage Superman. That's the one I think that hit the most because I think you and I both was a big fan of John Schnepp, and you know he did the documentary on Superman Lives, right?
Yeah, the death of Superman Lives. What happened?
Yeah,
I still ain't seen it, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. Rest in peace, John Schnepp.
You know what I'm saying? So seeing that on screen, I thought was big for me. Now seeing Christopher Reeves and the original Supergirl, those didn't hit as hard for me. One, because that wasn't them. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there are so many DC multiverses that we've seen that they could have showed. Like, I would have rather they showed the CW Flash or his Batman
and they did show Jay Garrett too. They did show Jay Garrett.
But I felt like we could have pulled from so many other things. Now, when I saw it, I'm thinking the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Everything crashed and becomes like one universe, supposedly one universe. I thought that was, you know what I'm saying, what was going on. And then in a way it was until they stopped it. But I don't think I don't know how long it's going to last. But like, yeah, I thought it was good, but I think some of the people that they used, they could have picked different cameos, right? Especially the Christopher Reeves one. I'm just like, he is to me in the embodiment of Superman, but why did we use him when there were so many other options out there? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I would have wanted to see you could have showed me a Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond, just crazy stuff. You know, like how how in Across the Spider-Verse they showed you Charles Gambino, Donald Glover's Prowler. You could have did this at this scene. That was the scene you had to do this for, because I don't think the Christopher Reeve Superman is gonna hit people as hard. The Nick Cage for hardcore DC fans or people who like know what happened with that movie, that's gonna hit them. But I just feel like at that time there were so many other options you could have went with.
I felt it was a missed opportunity. I hear you, man. I felt that was a missed opportunity with this. What was the last DC animated movie? I know you know what I'm talking about. It's where it was the culmination of everything from the past 10, 12 years. And they reset the universe at the end. It was Superman fought like some Titan god at the very end.
Trigon fought Darkseid?
Yeah, Trigon fought. What was the name of that movie?
Justice League Apocalypse War?
Something like that. Yeah.
It was actually Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, because Constantine was like the central part of that. Yeah.
Okay, Justice League Dark Apocalypse. Yeah, this right here. I'm pulling it up. This right here. Great film. Towards the end of that movie, everything was, they won, but they still lost. You know, they defeated the bad guys, but the Earth was off of its axis. Billions of people had already died, and there was like in another few years, everybody else gonna die. So we just waited to die. And what did Barry do? He was like, "Damn, let me go. I guess reset the timeline." So they actually sat there and watched the horizon, and literally watched themselves be erased. That made me uncomfortable when I watched that the first time. I was like, "Damn, that's just to see yourself be erased like that. That's just crazy to wrap my head around." I felt they should have did this in this movie. because they resetting it anyway. I just
Yeah.
before we saw it, I was like, this is the perfect time to do that because they know that they're resetting it. And they already had the scene in this movie where the Chrono Bowl was, they had a bunch of them collapsing, and so he was already destroying stuff. So just be like, okay, man, our Earth is destroyed, it's messed up. You know, you could have had something else catastrophic happen.
Yeah.
But they could have just had one more scene of Barry running into the thing and reset it, and you know, we don't know what happened next. Instead, we got this at the end. We got George Clooney when we should have got Christian Bale. We got George Clooney because Barry put the tomato on from the bottom shelf to the top shelf. That's crazy. And his daddy just happened to look up and they didn't reveal it until the present day. And we also got Jason Momoa at the end.
Drunk. I don't know what
how did you feel about all that at one take? Because
everything
I just the Justice League Dark thing ending, and how they could have tied it in with this. George Clooney and Jason Momoa at the end. How'd you feel?
Let me give you a little bit of pushback, and my pushback is going to be on this, on the Justice League Dark thing. I do understand what you're saying, but if everything is going back to be reset, there's no need at all to save his mama. I mean, to let his mama die. You're like, okay, that scene, to me, it would have lessened that scene because, like, you let her die, but you're going to go back and reset the whole, you're going to reset everything anyway. You know what I'm saying? So what was that scene for? You know what I'm saying? Listen, I heard rumors that George Clooney was going to show up. And when he showed up, I was just kind of like, I think it was me and like 6 other people like, the fuck? Like, you just kind of like, all right, is that a thing? I mean, what's going on with that? And then the Aquaman, I don't know what that had to do with anything.
Right. Same.
I don't know why. That is not a post-credit scene worth staying for by any means. I understand. Maybe Barry's going to appear in Aquaman later on. Maybe that's how Aquaman starts off. I don't know. But I didn't understand that scene whatsoever. And what was the purpose of it?
I got you. Okay. Well, man, let me know and let us know what are your final thoughts, man, and what would you rate this film out of 1 out of 10? And you know, you can also talk about anything we didn't talk about Iris. Did you like Iris? You like Iris West and Barry?
I love Kiersey Clemens. Kiersey Clemens. I think she's a fantastic actress, and I can't wait to see her and Barry more because one thing I'm not a big fan of like reporters and like comic book material. To me, you know what I'm saying, it's kind of annoying. But I do really love Iris and her connection, how she makes Barry feel more comfortable, more confident, and Kiersey Clemens definitely puts that on display. Don't get me wrong, he does seem a little awkward around her. That's because it's Barry. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, I love Barry Flash, but my Flash personally is Wally West. And if we getting away from Ezra Miller, I'm honestly hoping we go into Wally West. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Transition to him because that Flash is very different, much more confident, got the hose, you know what I'm saying? Got a certain swagger to himself. Yeah. You know, that's the one I grew up with, like watching like Justice League and things of that nature. But overall, I really, really enjoyed this film. It gave me chills at times, like I said. The action sequences. But one of those VFX issues that I was talking about earlier was there was times where he had on his Flash suit, and you can look at his mask and tell that they CGI'd Ezra Miller's face into the mask, and that made me so uncomfortable because it was like,
really? Okay.
Yeah, I can't exactly point out specifically what scene it was. I know it was after. I think it was after he got his powers back. It was after he got his powers back. There were certain scenes where he was CGI'd into his mask, and I just like that looks atrocious. The other stuff I can give you a pass for, but why did you do that? And another thing, I personally thought there was an easier way to show Sasha's Supergirl getting killed. Like you didn't have to show the full sequence, or you didn't have to have like a CGI thing. You could just show her stab dead, cut dead, chop dead, stuff like that. Where like not necessarily a montage, but it's like one of those scenes, like in a football movie where somebody's like training and you just constantly see them falling down or falling down over and over and over. I would like to see that from Sasha, Supergirl, and Michael Keaton's Batman, just something like that repeat happen, rather than like have it be CGI and you having to watch it like that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't necessarily a fan of that. I thought the stuff happened with his dad. I thought that was great. Him, you know what I'm saying? Sean's, of course, seeing his dad and his dad, you know what I'm saying, making it out. I thought that was great. Yeah. Overall, I'll probably get the film. As far as DC films, I don't know exactly where I will. Well, as far as DC Universe films, I don't know exactly where I will rank it. Film as a whole, together, I would probably give it like an 8.5 out of 10. I still need to see it again. I've only seen it once so far. I'm trying to catch it again in theaters before it leaves theaters. I think I got some time. Maybe I do have time, but as far as the box office keep going in the direction it's going, I don't know how much longer they're gonna keep it in now.
Yeah, man. I thought I saw somebody a point on Facebook, not Facebook, but online, that they had like a buy one get one free or something. I was like, damn, that's interesting right there.
Get one free.
Maybe it's a joke or something. I don't know, but yeah, man, it's doing pretty ass at the box office right now.
That is terrible.
Yes, I don't know something happened with your mic, but yeah, The Flash, $210 million so far at the box office. I think this is 10 days in. And man, if we go to the domestic weekend, it already did shitty the first weekend at $55 million, but it has a 72% drop, bro. I mean, that's awful. Only time a drop like this is good is when you make a whole bunch of stuff opening weekend, like Endgame, Infinity War, No Way Home or something. But when you crap the bed like this, now this is a crap to bed. This is a crap and vomit and piss to bed. This is all three. This is you coming out of all orifices in the bed, waking up. Just that's gross. I'm sorry, but yeah, The Flash is doing. Hold on, what did Shazam 2 do? I think this is doing worse. I think this is doing worse than Shazam 2.
No, Shazam did 130.
Okay, its opening was oh damn. Okay, 130. Okay. Yeah, all right. God.
It did worse than Morbius.
Did it?
Yes.
Man, because I remember Morbius bombed twice because they re-released it in the Woo! Morbius still did worse. Okay, but yeah, The Flash still. This is awful, man.
I'm talking about Shazam did worse than Morbius.
Okay. So yeah, it's not doing hot, y'all. I don't think this film is gonna make 300, and the budget was 200 million for this. So yeah, this is
6, which it won't sniff.
Yeah. But y'all, I give the film an 8 out of 10. I've seen it twice. I did enjoy it overall, but I still like Man of Steel more, and I like Zack Snyder's Justice League more. Not Joss Whedon's, but Zack Snyder's, the Snyder cut. I like that one more than this one right here. For all the reasons we talked about. I thought the very beginning of this film, up until the point that Barry lost his powers, I was like, this may be the best comic book movie of all time. Up until that point, it could have been in a conversation, but after that, it kind of, took a dip down for all the reasons that we discussed. But it was still good. Just overhyped.
Yeah.
Later on today, and we're filming this on Sunday. Check me out. It is the latest super duper hero comic book smash down show. This was last week. We talked about all the figures you can see there. and the latest movie news roundup show. We did talk about Kang and the movie news roundup, and so check that out. Also check out the Blackening, Transformers, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse non and spoilery review. And now also check out my Secret Invasion stuff as well. One matter of fact, OneTakeBigDog is going to be joining me for not episode 2, but episode 3, which is going to take place on July the 5th, Wednesday. OneTakeBigDog will be joining me to discuss Secret Invasion episode 3 at 6:05 p.m. CST. We're going to break it down. Episode 2, I'm going to be doing that with Elliot. And episode 4, I got another guest as well. And so, yeah, make sure y'all tune into that. Get your audio only versions on as well. Let's see here. Subscribe to OneTakeBigDog. He on the channel tab right there on the top row. Follow him on TikTok and also on YouTube as well. OneTake, any more last words, sir?
Well, I got a couple of videos I'm trying to shoot. I know I'm shooting a review. The only thing I know I'm guaranteed to shoot a review for on YouTube is season 2 of The Bear, the best show of 2023. So yeah, y'all be on the lookout for that.
Already, and check me out if you're watching this as soon as I post it. It's 6 p.m. CST today. I got the latest superhero comic book Smashdown. I'm gonna be talking about Marvel Studios skipping Comic-Con this year and a bunch of other superhero comic book stuff as well. Yes. But guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that I'm B. Avery. That's OneTake, and that's just our opinion. Peace out, and we'll see you next time.